Hello, everyone. Visa sponsorship, the in thing these days. Question: Is it power? Is it peril? So I'm thinking around how we can navigate the UK Tier 2 visa sponsorship. We're going to be looking at sponsorship itself, some pitfalls, and how we can empower our citizens to handle this. My name is John Nyamunda.
Kasi vibes, uyashupa, noma kushupa, push, skin na parati. Awesome, mapipili ya kashe, la still we rise like I'm a cheetah on a mission. Stacking coins, we counting hope. My silver spoon is cool on my soap. Pum Billy, never back. When we struggle in our backpack, grind for life. Pan.
Right. So here we are. Hello and welcome to Eduverse, your podcast. This is our premier podcast. And we are looking at that transition from the third world countries, from low income countries to high income countries. We're trying to establish what are the benefits, what are the challenges, what are some of the things that we need to think about. Today, we're tackling the topic that is both a dream and a source of immense anxiety for thousands, securing and surviving on a UK Tier 2 visa. You have landed the sponsorship job, you have navigated the complex application and the costly application, by the way, and you're finally in the UK by some hook or crook, loans, donations, sponsorships, all that. But what now? The reality of life on a sponsored visa comes with unique challenges that many aren't prepared for. We're going to pull back the curtain on the sponsor-retail relationship. My apologies. We're going to talk about the strict legal limitations on your work and address a harsh truth, the exploitative nature of probationary periods when you have so much to lose. And most importantly, we will discuss how you can not only survive, but thrive.
Now we hustle tight. No surrender, no panacea, love, Rugasi, Fuga, grind for life. I'm Sugila, all biggest enemy.
Right. So let's start with the most crucial figure in your UK journey, your sponsor. Okay. Now, the sponsor is your gateway and your keeper. In the simplest terms, your sponsor is your employer who has a license from the UK Home Office to bring in skilled workers from outside the UK. But to you, they are much more than that. They are your legal gateway to the country, right? Your right to live and work in the UK is 100% tied to your job with that specific sponsor. This creates a power dynamic that is fundamentally different from a standard employment relationship. So your employer doesn't just control your paycheck and your career progression, but they control your legal status. If the sponsorship relationship ends for any reason, your visa is effectively cancelled. Did you know that? The UK Home Office will send you a curtailment notice, which typically gives you 60 days to either find a new sponsor or apply for a new visa or leave the UK. There is no grace period for figuring things out. This 60-day clock starts ticking the moment your employment officially ends. This immense power imbalance is the backdrop for everything we will discuss in this conversation. Now, let's talk about the money. The cost of living in the UK, is especially in the cities like London, can be a shock. I mean, think of this. You're coming from a country that uses a currency that is 20 times weaker than the British pound. So when someone tells you they're going to the UK, your impression is that they're going to lead the good life. Okay, it's natural to think about picking up a side hustle, right? A part-time job or some freelance work to make ends meet or just feel more financially secure. But here is the critical legal limitation. Your Tier 2 visa only permits you to work for your sponsor in the specific role described on your certificate of sponsorship. You cannot, and this is very important, and I need you to really listen to this. You cannot drive for Uber or Deliveroo. You cannot do freelance graphic design or coding on the side. You cannot work in a bar or a restaurant on weekends. You cannot take on a part-time consulting gig in your field. The only exceptions are very limited. You can do voluntary work, unpaid work. You can study, though some courses may have their own fees. And in some very specific circumstances, you can work in a second job for up to 20 hours per week. But it must be in the same profession and at the same level as your main job. And it cannot be with a different sponsor unless they also go through the full sponsorship process for you. This is a statutory limitation. Breaking these rules is a breach of your visa conditions and can lead to your visa being revoked and you being banned from re-entering the UK. It's a non-negotiable part of the deal. Now, let's look at the probationary period trap. It's important to note that at this stage, there is no recourse, there is no safety net. This is perhaps the most difficult and exploitative part of the Tier 2 system for the employee. Let's talk about probationary periods. In the UK, most employees have a probation period, typically 3 to 6 months, but some have probationary periods extending up to 12 months. During this time, and it's very important before you come to actually know what is the probationary period that you're going to be expected to meet. So most employees, as we said, get between 3 and 6 months, but others go up to 12 months. Okay. During this time, it's easier for an employer to dismiss you, often with a shorter notice period. For a British citizen or someone with indefinite leave to remain, losing a job during probation is tough, but they can immediately sign on for benefits. Right? They can take on another job and have legal recourse if they believe the dismissal was unfair after 2 years of service. So you can only seek legal recourse if you have worked for 2 years with that employer. For you as a Tier 2 holder, losing your job during probation is catastrophic. It triggers that 60-day curtailment notice we talked about. And here is the brutal truth. You have virtually no recourse. I'll repeat that. You have virtually no recourse. Let that sink in. UK employment law does not protect you from unfair dismissal until you have worked for your employer for 2 years. This means if your manager simply doesn't like you, if the company's finances take a slight dip and they decide to let the expensive sponsored employee go, or if you're the victim of discrimination that is hard to prove, you can be dismissed during your probation with little explanation and no legal comeback. Unscrupulous employers know this. They can, and some do, exploit this power. They may overwork you, threaten your position, or create a hostile environment, knowing that you cannot easily push back or report them for fear of losing everything. Your visa is your lifeline, and they hold it. This creates a situation ripe for worker abuse, with the employee having very little power to resist. I want you to understand this, and I want you to allow this to sink in. Your visa is your lifeline, and your employer holds that lifeline. So whatever they choose, liking you, not liking you, you're too tall for my liking, you're too dark for my liking, you don't speak English as well as I would want you to, they can use that against you and just get rid of you. And no one will stand in for you and support you, by the way. Now, here is something that is important. This all sounds quite grim, doesn't it? But knowledge is power. Knowing the pitfalls is the first step to avoiding them. So, what can you do to protect yourself and to build a good life in the UK? The first part, very important. You need to choose your sponsor wisely before you accept. So research the company extensively. You can actually go on sites like Glassdoor. Ask direct questions in your interview. What is your track record with sponsored employees? Can I speak to someone else on your team who is on a tier 2 visa? This or their reaction will tell you a lot. Build a financial runway. Before you move, save as much money as you humanly can. You should aim for an emergency fund that can cover at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses, plus the cost of a flight home. This financial cushion is your primary source of power. It means if things go wrong, you aren't destitute and can make clear-headed decisions during that 60-day period. Understand your contract and your rights. Read your employment contract carefully. Know your probation period and know the terms. Even without full unfair dismissal rights, you are still protected from discrimination from day one based on race, on gender, on religion, etc. You also have rights to a safe workplace and to not suffer unlawful deductions from wages. You need to know the difference. Another key point is networking. Start building your professional network from day one. Connect with people on LinkedIn, attend industrial meetups. This isn't just for career growth, it's your safety net for finding a new sponsor quickly if you need to. A warm introduction is infinitely more powerful than a cold application. Something else very important, handle the transition with care. Find your community. Seek out groups from your home country or other international communities. They understand the unique challenges of being an expat. Embrace the practicalities. Get a bank account, a national insurance number, and understand the public transport system as soon as you can. Mastering the basics reduces your daily stress. And be kind to yourself. You are going through a huge life change. It's almost like you're becoming a teenager again. It's normal to feel homesick and overwhelmed. Give yourself time to adjust. And then, my final nugget of wisdom. Your Tier 2 visa is a stepping stone, not your final destination. Keep your eyes on the long-term goal, whether that is securing indefinite leave to remain after 5 years or gaining invaluable international experience. Document your achievements. Keep your CV updated and always be professionally prepared for a change. This mindset shifts you from a position of fear to one of strategic planning. You have taken a brave step. Being informed, financially prepared, professionally connected, you can reclaim your power and build the future you came here for. Okay, thank you very much. So that's all we have for time for today. Thank you for listening. If you have questions or your own experiences to share, please reach out to us on our social channels. We are a community and we are stronger together. Until next time, remember, your talent is global and your journey is valid. Keep moving.